And hello, everybody, and welcome back to the stream. Or if it's your first time here, welcome. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday, or whatever day it is for you right now, and we are back. So it is the weekend stream, and we have started Of the Devil, Chapter 2, Episode 2, excuse me. This is one of the best of all the visual novels I've read, this is currently the best. It is so fucking well written. I love the cyberpunk shit. I love the intrigue behind our main character being a murderer and also a defense attorney. And if you were not here last time we played the game, we just murdered a bunch of people, but then we got hired by a crime family to represent a man that we framed for several murders. And it's pretty spicy because there's some details that our main character has no idea what those details are or how they happened. And so we have to, through her, figure out what the fuck happened so that we don't get caught for the quadruple murder that she committed. In addition to, serving this crime family in this court case in order to not fucking get killed by the crime family for failing. So, yeah. Boom. This is a work of fiction. Okay. Continue. Did we end on a funny... I think we ended on a funny joke. And that's why I cut it off right here. Right, we were asking Sosuke if, he was a killer. And he's like, yes, I was once a killer. You mean, yes, I was in the military? I've killed before. Okay. I've taken lives many times. Actually, wait, no, this is a funny joke, but at the same time, this is an incredibly interesting subject to bring up in this game because I don't understand what the national makeup is of the location that Morgan lives. And I don't know what the nationality status is of, the world in 2086 in the game. So the fact that he's been in the military, that might be insightful as to world events that have happened in this universe, so... I've taken lives many times. That doesn't make you a murderer. Soldiers are given orders. I've killed people. Whether or not a superior asked me to doesn't change that fact. But soldiers... Are you a soldier, Sarah? No? So drop it. She's good at following orders. It can take years to acquire that skill. I imagine it comes easy for androids. Yes, I suppose that's... Wait, that's an android? He couldn't tell, apparently. Masters. Oh yeah, our aunt, who's a zoomer. A zoomer whore. Wait, depends on the time of day. She weighs herself after she shits. Is blood type AB- even real? Occupation, lawyer to the rich and famous, semi-retired. Dislikes, getting ghosted by my adorable goddaughter. Does make me wonder about the nature of Morgan's parents and upbringing. The fact that Victoria is technically not her aunt, but her goddaughter. Goddaughter implies... I'm pretty sure a godfather and a godmother are, the people who are designated as, the de facto carers for a child should the parents suddenly perish. So the fact that she refers to her as a goddaughter in general makes me wonder if she also raised Morgan. Also, I didn't notice this when we saw her in the first game, but like I didn't realize she had an entire robotic arm and a sophisticated version of one of those smoker. You know when people like need their larynx removed because of throat cancer because they were smoking, and so they have to talk by using this weird electric device that's attached to their neck. That's what it appears that Victoria has, but there's been no inclination in any of her dialogue to indicate that she talks like a robot, so it must be something autonomous that just fixes the fact that her larynx is gone and she can talk normally as a result. That's my assumption. Oh, she likes macadamia nuts. She doesn't look like she eats that many cookies, though. I like the detail that her biological arm is so much larger than her robot arm because she has to use her biological arm for things that require muscle, and that just sort of builds the muscle in one arm but leaves the other one not needing to be built up by the strain of activity. Or that's her jerking off arm, who knows? Could be that as well. Luck. SSR in the first pull? I don't even know what that means. It's probably a sex thing that I don't want to think about. Sosuke. God damn, 192 centimeters. This motherfucker is tall. Holy shit. I think Jotaro Kujo was like 188 centimeters tall. So like 192 centimeters is fucking crazy. This man's like 6'8". In fact, I'm going to do the math on that. By math, I mean Google. Okay. $192. Oh, he's only 6'2". Okay. Okay, never mind. Still, that's fucking tall as fuck. Man is massive. AB minus blood type again. It has to be a real blood type then. There's no way. Occupation, head of personal security, Ikaria Group. Likes, whetstones, paperback, matcha. Dislikes, the opera, wasabi, insects. Oh, I can't be friends with Sosuke if he really hates insects. That sucks. Favorite author, Alexander Dumas. Okay, so for those who don't know, Alexander Dumas was the lieutenant to Napoleon Bonaparte, and he was a black Frenchman, like, serving in this high military office, you know, in the 1800s during the French conquest of Europe. So the fact that his favorite author is a historical, controversial, identifying individual from a very distant but very interesting time period. In fact, I think it's like almost exactly 200 years from 2086 to when Alexander Dumas was active, like, so 1886. Yeah, that's like exactly 200 years ago. I could be wrong. Could be that it happened earlier or later than that. But I know that Napoleon was in the late 19th century, you know, around mid to late 19th century, if I recall correctly. You know, Europe really loves fucking fighting itself for all time periods leading up until, I don't know, the 90s. But it's very cool that he likes that Alexander as a as a writer. It's very interesting. Coffee, Cafe Americano. Okay. Default status, non-work related messages will be blocked. Very honorable man. Kind of sucks that he hates insects. Why does he have two V's and an I? Viv. Viv. I wonder if there's a meaning behind that. Wait, that's an android? Did you miss the glowing barcode? And ignore my ignore my self-introduction? Look, I'm tired. I thought those were highlights or something. Did my hair catch your eye? You have a discerning taste. You see, each strand is actually... Was there something you wanted to say, Sosuke? I've taken lives before, and so I know how I feel afterwards. Finn. And how do you feel right now? Right now, I feel... What is it? You remember something? Yes. After I stepped out that door, I said I saw red. But I do remember one other sensation. I remember the feeling of gripping my sword. Uh-oh. That brief you read, it listed all the charges, all the causes of death. The fifth man, the cop they say I killed. How did he die? I don't know. Excuse me? And here it is, Reyes. Oh, best tomboy cop girl. Stabbed to the back with a sword, skewered like a piece of goddamn meat. If you've got the balls to ask us to carry him to a hospital? I don't think that's quite how I phrased the request. I've been paying close attention. Would you like me to play back what you said? Not right now, Sparky. Reyes, she's just doing her job. It's not like she's asking, oh, save the lecture, gray hair. Gray? Come on, my hair isn't... Yes, it is. Well, no, not really, but... London. We like London. Kasim London. I didn't even... Oh, wow, his name was Kasim. So he's like Iranian or something. Huh. Homicide detective, first class, likes duct tape to mascara, oak. Mascara on women? Dislikes parking lots, ties, honeydew. The best at finding new restaurants. Commendations, none displayed at his workstation. Wardrobe, more expensive than it looks. This guy's very cool. It's graying, maybe? In case I haven't made it clear, I've never liked you, Morgan. Aw, you're breaking my heart. I hadn't noticed. But I never took you for a mob lawyer. Whatever my client's associations might be, he's a cop killer. Innocent until proven guilty isn't a phrase I coined myself, Detective. Farah Reyes. Surely this is America without like diverse it is, right? I guess it could be Britain. Think about how like the next 10 years work out for that country. Man, she is short, 162. It's like 5'3" or something. She is tiny. 63 kilograms, A-. You know what's funny? I just realized she gives her weight out. A lot of the female characters in this game don't even give their weight out. They're like, oh, how dare you ask me? But Reyes just doesn't give a shit. She's like, fuck you, I don't care, I'm a cop. With an eye patch, fuck you, I'm hot and I'm gonna get my job done. Like sneakers, volcanoes, the Paralympics. That's interesting. Does she think it's impressive, or does she laugh at them? Dislikes, scalpers, hoarders, Anise, whoever that is. Maybe an office worker. Favorite television show, civil engineering documentaries. Shampoo, dunno, conditioner's more important. Undefeated at volleyball, oh man. Wife material. It's actually somewhat important. Oh, don't worry about that. The proving won't take us long at all. You always take pride in rushing your investigations. We've all seen the same intake file by now, yes? God damn. Sosuke Ikaria was apprehended at the scene of the crime and placed in a medical transport. Injuries noted at the time. Blood from various sources across the anterior front of the body. Numerous bones and left hand broken as if from impacting a hard surface. Numerous bones and left hand broken as if from impacting a hard surface. Slight laceration found on left hand. They really fucked with his left hand. What the hell? Internal bleeding throughout the torso and skull. Bruising and rope burns on both wrists as if bound. What do you mean, as if? Numerous bruises on the anterior front side of the body. Others blood across the tops of feet and pant legs. Largest wound found on the crown of the skull, back of the head near the top. At time of booking, numerous additional injuries were noted, including bruising to the left eye, busted lips, broken nose, boxed left ear. Blunt trauma to anterior front, right side of head. When or where these additional injuries were sustained is not noted. He was being tortured. Why is that not obvious, that he was being tortured and then he killed them? At least that's the story they should go with. We've all seen the same intake file by now, yes? My client was in bad shape when he was arrested, but his wounds were treated in a medical transport. Yet somehow, in between arriving at the station and his booking, all his wounds were reopened, and some of them had multiplied. Tell me if you can, great detective, how will we ever solve the mystery of the reappearing fractured skull? Your client was being moved between floors. He struggled trying to escape. And then he fell down the stairs? Really? Was there a lawnmower waiting at the bottom? Look, we're all adults here. So let's just say it. Your co-workers kicked the shit out of him. Well, what do you want me to do about it? I want you to upload the law. Guys, we need to patch the Constitution. It'll take, we have to wait until Tuesday. At the end of the month. Get that patch out at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard. I want you to uphold the law. For some reason, I thought you cared about that. A police badge is in a time machine. By the time we took custody, he was already... She's right, Tiger. What's done is done. You've got a snowball's chance in hell of proving your client was assaulted while in police custody. And you'll never get charges brought against the officers who did it. So try asking for something doable. Don't go giving away all my best tricks. The door-in-the-face tactic is already fragile. I want him to see a doctor. You've got to be shitting me. That's a blooded KW in there with military-grade mods. He's not leaving this building. A blooded KW. I don't know what? A blooded KW. What the fuck does that mean? Military grade mods, yes, I agree. But we could have a doctor brought here and give him the chance to take a hostage. He's not the 99 man, Reyes. He can't break his cuffs. Don't say 99 man. You don't know what it means. You're too old. I don't know what 99 man is either. A hypothetical transhumanist condition of biotechnical superiority. Interesting. Checking that my microphone is not muted. It's not. Okay, it's not. The 99 man, or a 99 man, refers to a theoretical state of being in which a human has replaced as much of their body with cybernetic equivalents as possible, thereby becoming someone who is 99% machine and yet technically still a human. The term first appeared in the speculative fiction short story Carved Out of Marble by N.P. Smith. but it rose to prominence after the 2072 Paralympics, when middleweight track and field gold medalist Ayad Saffron quoted the story as inspiration after breaking the world record at the time for the 800 meters. Since then, the phrase has been popularized as both a meme and thought experiment, opening up discussions about transhumanism in sports, the business world, education, and beyond. Some social media influencers, athletes, or tech evangelists have taken the 99 Man as a challenge, modding themselves as much as possible with the explicit goal of approaching what they see as the cultural limit for transhumanism. Officially, the individual who has the greatest percentage of their body mass replaced with artificial and analogs is an anonymous male adult living in the Eastern Hemisphere who was suffering from a rare and terminal form of bone cancer before signing up for an experimental surgery. An experimental surgery offered through How Industries' Theseus initiative. Oh wow, that's really fucking on the wall. How officially described the patient as currently living a normal and productive life, though Theseus has never produced any consumer market products and has not published any additional research papers in the last 2 years, leading some to question whether the results are at all replicable. How about a medic who can't be taken hostage? A medical ad? Sure, great. Let's see if we can't negotiate his premium lower while we're at it. Is that a refusal, Detective Reyes? Oh, I didn't say no, did I? Great. He also needs a protective detail. Lady, I swear to... Counselor. Protective details are comprised of off-duty cops. I don't think that'll have the outcome you're looking for. No. But if my client is left unattended one more night, he's likely to be declared unfit to stand trial when he shows up to court with his head caved in. An outcome I genuinely believe you're not looking for either. We could keep him here. What? In the interrogation room? Counseling quarter. Table can't be moved, but if you slide the chairs out of the way, the floor is not actually that hard. How do you even know that? Given what other lodgings he's had in the last 24 hours, I don't think your client will mind. So Detective Reyes and Detective London take shifts keeping watch. Now we're keeping watch? It is the Homicide Department's counseling quarter. You think I give a shit what happens to that son of a bitch? You think I wouldn't walk in there myself and... You wouldn't. What? It's not in your nature. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You either have it or you don't. Trust me, if I had a chance to take a swing at that son of a bitch... Yeah, you already called him that, a piece of shit, a bastard, a killer. But unlike every other cop I walked past to get in here, you've yet to call Sosuke an animal. So what? What the hell does that matter? It's the only thing that matters. I've got the outsider's perspective, so I know. Your average human can do anything to anyone, so long as they're not a person. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whatever. Think what you want, creep. Well, so long as that's your only request, we should be able to. I need to get into the crime scene as soon as possible. You've got to be... What, like tonight? She's not rushing more than anyone else, Sunshine. Everyone up the line has been raring to go on this. Now that Sosuke's actually got a lawyer... Well, maybe if that son of a bitch hadn't clammed up all day, we wouldn't... She said it again. Whatever. Pick, then, counselor. You can bully us into guard duty or escort duty, but we can't do both. I need both. You'll have to split up. But I can help with that. Or rather, Sarah can. I can? Of course you can. You can go treat Sosuke. Adonai, I am not trained in... Oh, I love this bitch. She's pretending she doesn't remember being registered as my medical ad. Yes, I would never forget that unforgettable experience. But I've never done first aid before. Well, Watch a tutorial first. Use a lot of sanitizer. Just hand her some bandages and she'll get Sosuke looking good as new in no time. And you can plop her in front of the door and even 20 crooked cops working together couldn't get her to budge. That much is certainly accurate. I have a strong core, so if I focus and lower my center of gravity. Thanks for the sales pitch, but it doesn't mean shit. The crime scene is in the lower wards. If you think, after what happened last night, that any cop with a pulse would go down there without their partner, it's okay, sunshine. I'll take her down there. Is everyone else in here huffing Nirvana? London, it's in blue blood territory. Blue blood territory outskirts, really. They lost a whole pod. They'll be swarming the place. You can't go down there without backup. Backup, huh? Ba-ba-da-boo. Hey, how you doing, LBG? Hope you're having a good evening tonight. You know Mac from Contraband? Skinny guy, kind of a perv. Yeah, he's skinny. Look, he's got crime scene analysis sweeps going over that place with a fine comb right about now. Drones, probes, the works. Oh, this game again. Yeah, we're having to do we are now lawyering for a guy that we framed for a quadruple murder. Because at the beginning of this chapter, Morgan killed 4 people. And then framed some guy who was blindfolded at the time. And now we have to represent that guy in court that we fucked with. But even crazier is that there was a 5th killing, and it was a police officer, and Morgan didn't do it, and we don't know who did. So the guy we're representing is being charged with 5 homicides, 4 that we framed him for, and 1 that we have no fucking clue about. So yeah, we're back into this game. It's fucking crazy, and it's awesome. And there was a JoJo meme in the beginning. It was very funny. They'll have eyes on us before we get within 5 minutes of the place. How did the other one end with the bot? Oh, you mean chapter 1? How'd that end? We successfully were able to obfuscate the possibility that Sarah is like a person, and so the result is that she wasn't killed, and we barely got out of ourselves getting thrown in prison. Whatever. Just keep in contact for once. Hope you're being generously compensated, Eve. Selling your soul to the mob. It'd be a shame if you didn't at least get a good price. Oh damn, at least my robo-daughter lives. Well, Sarah is still here. So it's fine. Hey, you coming, Blinkers? Gotta find where they store all the med kits in this dusty old piece of... Go on. I'll be right behind you, Detective. Sorry about that. She's still new to all this, really. Not old like me. She does seem to be on edge, more so than usual. It's her first time losing a fellow officer. I think she's taking it pretty hard. Maybe even personally. Did they know each other? Hmm? Ah, right. You gathered up all your things? I'll go bring us up a ride. Uh-oh, was Reyes fucking the officer that was murdered? Was her boyfriend killed? Or girlfriend, I guess? Oh, please let her be straight. Or at least bisexual, whatever. Great! Thanks for all the help, Detective. You're a lifesaver. Though this is one occasion where I wouldn't have had any trouble finding the place. Yeah, because you fucking murdered everyone there, except for the cop. Really didn't take you that long to patch him up, huh? Now we just wait here. All night. That clock runs pretty slow. If you're not doing anything else, Detective, might you be interested in answering some questions? Uh-oh, Sarah, what are you going to try and do, Sarah? Sarah's gonna try and be helpful, and it's not gonna go well for us because we're the murderer and she doesn't even know that we're the murderer. Once more into the depths. When I went down to the lower wards last night, I knew what I wanted to find, but I wasn't sure where to look. Now I know where to look, but I have multiple priorities to consider. It'd be nice if I can prove Sosuke's innocence. It won't be easy, given that they think he killed a cop. But to keep me on the Akadia's good side. That'd be nice. But what is essential is that I figured out what the hell happened after I left, and whether anyone found any trace that I was ever there. Everything else is second to... Sorry, I guess I should have asked before I decided we'd be sharing a cab. I don't mind. But I am surprised. Did budget cuts take away your shiny patrol car? Patrol cars are shared, Counselor. Any cop can step into any other cop's car, sync their credentials, and drive. Convenient. Shame you can't personalize. Yeah, no more dice in the mirror. Man, that sucks. This future is so cool, but it also fucking sucks. Is that why we're in a cab, then? Personal taste? These cars are full of bugs. I thought you might appreciate the privacy. Autocabs are full of bugs, too. True, but there are ways around them. Are there? I didn't know that. Yeah, plenty. Can be easy as flashing a police badge. I think London is super smart, and I think that he might be a threat. Something you want to discuss in private, Detective? They changed the color scheme. The mood is changing. I was asked to get in contact with you and pass along a message. A secret admirer? Certain interest in parties and all that. You know how it is. I'm not sure I do. Does this have something to do with my client's business affiliations? He has in his "I've got you" colors? Kinda, yeah. There would be a lot more blustering if I were to repeat it verbatim, so I'll paraphrase. Focus on getting the best outcome for your client. More of a reminder of what my job description is than a warning. And don't broaden the scope of your investigation any more than strictly necessary. Well, I always appreciate your kind words of advice. But Detective London, that almost makes it sound like you're on the take. That's the city, Tiger. If you don't take a little, they'll bury you. Alive, if need be. Oh, they will. How conspiratorial. Oh man, I sure hope this isn't Britain, because then we know who they is. Hopefully this is the United States, and it is in fact just the Akadias threatening the police. Including London. I am desperately hoping that London does not know we are the murderer, because he strikes me as the L to our light Yagami if he knows that we are on to because if he knows, that means his intelligence and wisdom is fucking astronomical. That he has somehow figured us out. So if he's actually our enemy, that's really bad. We're fucked, in my opinion, if that's what it turns out to be. Not a joke, Morgan. Do they threaten your wife with Tommy guns if you don't comply? Ha! It's gotten more sophisticated than that. Well, maybe sophisticated isn't the right word. Complicated might be more accurate. Or you could just call it a quagmire. Or even a shitstorm. If you can't get along to go along, even other cops won't trust you. You'll end up shot in the back, friendly fire. A tragic newspaper clipping. I hope he's like L and not N. Well, L, I mean, I don't like Death Note very much, but I don't recall whether or not L losing to Light Yagami was, like, well written or not. I know that they did this weird thing where they were, like, being friends to one another for a while, and then eventually one of them got found out, but I overall, I don't really like that show, because I just don't like following unlikable protagonists. You know, like, L and is Light is dramatically less interesting to me than Morgan. Because he's just, like, the god complex, like, asshole retard. You know, autistic retard. Autistic savant plus autistic retard, you know. But Morgan is much more intriguing at the moment. We don't really know exactly what's going on in her heart and her mind from episode 1, like in Death Note, where it's just episode 1, he's murdering people and trying to become God. It's like, ugh. You're exaggerating. You're telling me the entire police force is corrupt? Corruption would be one thing. You could, in theory, root it out. But above and below the canopy, But above and below the canopy, it's all intertwined. Every tree stabilizing every other tree. What do they call that? Not parasitism. Commensalism. There you go. The state pays criminal informants to rat on their peers and lets them keep their positions in exchange. Orcas buy judges and politicians to keep their men out of prison. Status quo. Balancing act. A cycle. Stable as any gyroscope. Forgive me if I find that hard to believe. Crime is at an all-time low. That's not a contradiction. People hate crime. But what gets people killed is chaos. And the opposite of organized crime... So everyone's playing nice with each other? Even Detective Reyes? Jeez. What about the man that they think my client killed? Did he play nice? He was a special case. You got the brief. You recognize his last name? It's a big city. I don't put too much stock into last names. You'll need to break that habit if you continue to work in the underworld. Selske said something similar. Tariq Chopin. Oh boy. I don't know, I liked it. It was fun. It was a fun watch. The second season felt lazy, in my opinion. Yeah, that's when I heard everybody disliked it. And then eventually Light lost to the new guy, and it kind of sucked. I still feel like this is Britain, though, because, like, we see so many... It's a lot of mixed-race names, but it's also... It seems very specifically, like, Middle Eastern. So, like, I keep thinking that this is Britain. So, Tariq Chopin, August 9th, date of birth, 176 centimeters tall, 72 kilograms, A+ blood type. Likes 24/7 news, calligraphy, late dinners. Holy shit, it's a purple guy from FNAF. What? He doesn't look that purple. To me, at least. He looks gray, with, like, green hair to me. Dislikes gray hairs, untucked shirts, mint. Education, Bachelor of Science in Applied Physiology. Oh no, Philosophy. Yeah, he's not getting a job with that fucking education. No wonder he became a fucking patrol officer. Awarded Senatorial Commendation of Bravery, posthumous. Oh, so he got an award after dying. Survived by Fathers Miguel and Dominique Chopin, city councilman. Oh, his dads are gay. Oh, okay. He's still kind of purple, and he has a security-type uniform. I didn't think Purple Guy was actually a security guard, though. Wasn't he William Afton? Or something? Oh, whatever. Tariq Chopin, only son of Miguel and Dominic Chopin. I don't know, I remember him having a badge. I don't know. FNAF lore. I stopped paying attention to FNAF lore after 3 because FNAF 3 literally just completed the plot of all of FNAF. There was no reason for there to be more games after FNAF 3. Because FNAF 3 basically, when you find the whole mystery and then you burn down the facility, the spirits of the children that were trapped in the animatronics move on to the afterlife finally. So it's like, okay, story's over. Like, we're done. Like, we released the souls of the dead children. And we burned down the facility that Springtrap, aka William Afton, was inside of. So, like, there was no reason to do anything else after that. But then they just kept making more FNAF shit. It was very weird. And then they put William Afton in fucking Dead by Daylight. And he had a bunch of goofy lines that I don't know if I liked or not. The power couple? Why would the son of two of our city's most prominent council members be working as a police officer? You want the full story? Always. Chopin. So who was this Chopin, really? An idealist. Wrong line of work, then. You're only half right. When he entered the academy, everyone assumed it was a political move, first step in his career to becoming a senator or whatever. Maybe it was, but anyone who met the guy could tell you he would have made a lousy politician. You're saying he was honest? Wouldn't tell a lie if his life depended on it. Guy couldn't do small talk, much less make friends. Talking about cleaning up the city, cleaning up the police, cleaning up everything. Ooh, what if he was killed by another police officer? If he was so unpopular, why was he kept on? Oh, unpopular. No one on the force wanted to risk insulting his parents by firing him. Just got passed around from department to department, detail to detail. Did a lot of community outreach. Community outreach? What, like bake sales? Like giving talks at schools about saying no to drugs until you turn 21. Woof! Must have really loved his job to put up with that. Or he just wanted to prove a point that bad. Lower wards. Don't you try to save lower wards patrols for the more seasoned, better armed officers? We do, yeah. How'd you know that? By going to the lower wards and looking at the cops you send there, of course. I read about it in Watch magazine last month. Oh. If Chopin was the son of such powerful men, why'd he end up in the lower wards last night? That, I don't know. You don't know? By all accounts, he and his partner should have been at least 2 patrols removed from that area. Must have been following up on some other lead. His partner, who's that? The hero who finally arrested the Hound of Icaria. That's who. I'll have to send him a congratulatory fruit basket. Huey Rogers. Pretty bare-bones record, but maybe that'll just add to his legend. Whoops. Don't know what I just did. What legend? Taking your client alive. Whacked him in the head with a sidearm, knocked him out cold. Guess it is a small miracle that Sosuke wasn't just shot dead if they thought he killed a cop. Maybe, but it wasn't pure luck. Only thing that did stick out to me in Roger's record was his shooting score. 41 out of 100. You need 40 to pass. I think someone took pity on him when tallying up his score. So he's a terrible shot. Oh no, are the police trying to frame a friendly fire mistake on Sosuke, and they're bundling that in, which means that there's not like a single shred of police assistance that could ever really help Morgan in this case, because it's all going to be obfuscated only to benefit the police department? Oh, fuck. This is gonna be crazy. And difficult. God, her tits are nice. So he only whacked Sosuke on the head because he was too bad of a shot to avenge his partner? At least Rogers knows his weaknesses. Like, she's hot, dude. She's wearing a pantsuit. What a wild way to end that rant! It was just randomly in my mind. For literally no reason. It was just in my mind. I keep hearing that name, the Hound of Icaria. I cringe every time. No one actually calls him that, right? Sorry, but I've definitely heard that name circulating around organized crime before. Must have been one hell of a bodyguard to have earned a nickname for that. He's a bodyguard? Then, yeah, must be pretty good. Of course, hound dogs are known for other things besides guarding. Sorry, that was, crude. Aw, don't be sorry. I don't even get enough of the joke to be offended. Dogs are known for other things besides guarding. Yeah, they're known for fucking, and they're known for shitting. Okay, that all makes for some interesting food for thought. But Detective London, if you are working for the Blue Bloods... I never said I worked for the Blue Bloods. That's more of a gig worker type thing, Tiger. I'm friends with everybody. Oh, that's... Ooh, that's a bit... Oh, what does that mean? If you are working for the mob in general, then how do I know you're even taking me to the right place and not to... Whoa, whoa. I may pass a message along here and there, but I'm not... Damn. Hell, no one else is either. Whatever you're imagining, it's not that exciting, I promise. Not that exciting. Sounds about right. Is it like this in every city? Handshakes and gentlemen's agreements behind closed doors? You disillusioned? The state has a great deal of power, Detective London. It makes countless rules. Now, I'm a big girl. I know that those rules don't apply to people equally, and I understand the value of criminal informants and the possible conflicts of interest that arise in trying to keep them around. What I don't get is why the state has all this strength, and it won't use it to just wipe the underworld off the map. That's pretty cold logic. I'd expect my state to be far colder. Hey, you ever heard this one? A politician, a CEO, and a mob boss are sitting at a round table with a gun in the middle. Who are you betting on? Betting on to die or kill? I feel like I'm going to bet on the CEO. The reason being is that a lot of these things are not mutually exclusive. You could be all three of them at once, and I think that it's more likely that the CEO will be all of them at once rather than the other two. A CEO looks at a loaded gun and sees the bullets in the clip as inventory that needs moving. Plus, they're used to taking a job at setting up their golden parachute before anything else. I doubt they'd walk into that room without first planning how they're getting out of it. Fair enough. CEOs only get the job in the first place by convincing their board they can navigate high stakes. But it's a trick question, of course. Rock, paper, scissors has no trump card. The politician can bring the heaviest arm of the law down onto the mob boss if he doesn't shoot the CEO for him. Mob boss can have the CEO's family killed if he doesn't blow away the politician first. And the CEO can turbocharge the campaign of whomever the politician's opponent is if he refuses to miss the mob boss. Yeah, seems like you could make the argument to go in the other direction, too. You could. So the point the riddle's meant to teach is this. Whoever convinces someone else to pull the trigger comes out on top. Funny. So in the parable, you've set up the gun on the table. That's the police. A blameless tool with no will of its own. Yeah. Though it was older men than I who set it up. Didn't realize this country's police were so powerless. How ever do you manage? This is definitely Britain. There's no way this isn't Britain. This has to be Britain. This has got to be Britain. There's a bunch of English-speaking characters that look very white, but a lot of them have like random Middle Eastern names and all that such. Like, so it's very diverse, and but they're all proper and English speaking, and their police force sucks right now. Like, their police force is terrible. This has to be the United Kingdom. It has to be. We used to have a partner that helped us out, a tiebreaker. Because all three of those powerful men would be screwed if a journalist told the world they were meeting together. I've got good news for you, Detective. Journalists still exist. I can introduce you to one. You could even take a photograph. Oh, I know they're not extinct. People will always write. It's just that no one wants to pay them to. Sorry, didn't mean to talk so much. Maybe it's nerves coming back down here. What happened the last time he visited? Something's up. Didn't put you to sleep, did I? No. Actually, your 3-seat table reminded me of an even older thought experiment. If God is omnipotent, why does he allow the existence of the devil? You know, way back many years ago, like in 2017, 2018, there was a script leak for Star Wars Episode 9, A Rise of Skywalker. And one of the things in that script leak is that when the bad guys were defeated, the general would get on his knees on Coruscant, and he would whimper to himself, "We have lost the Star War." Now, that wasn't in that movie, but that movie was still really bad, and that script was really bad. You want to know what script is fucking incredible? This one. Because this is actually a pertinent thing for Morgan to be saying. And that it mixes with the title. It's lovely. And I bet that this analogy she's going to create is also going to be very appropriate to her own situation, I assume. Like, she's probably going to mark herself off sort of as the devil. But obviously, towards the conversation with London, God is you know, the all-powerful state, and the devil is the underworld. If God is omnipotent, why does he allow the existence of the devil? Even I know that one. To preserve free will, or whatever, right? Yeah, that's the answer most people give. But now I'm wondering if it isn't rock, paper, scissors deadlock like the one you just described. God lets the devil be, so he'll terrify man, and man will always need God's warm protection. And God needs man's faith, which can't be compelled. Of course, most people would also say that God's long dead in the 21st century, but we're still around. So that leaves the devil in an awfully strong position, doesn't it? She is very silent for some reason. You always picture 3 men in that room, don't you? Huh? Yeah, I guess I do. Sorry. Do 55 feminist rosaries for your penance. That's funny. Low rewards. It's been an hour and like 20 minutes or so. Detective London. We're definitely not alone down here. But when you reassured your partner that we'd have company, I didn't think you were including blue bloods. You know, I knew I'd forgotten to mention. What? Well, then she's a liar, babe. Because I never said that. Oh, wow. Oh, come on, babe. That's what she likes. She lies for fun. Because that's what I call you, babe. It's a pet name. You like it? No, don't hang up. Don't hang up, baby. Don't hang up. Of course I do. We gotta get to work, Han. I'll have to call you back, babe. Something just came up. I do not know what the gender of this person is. Might be a woman, might be a man. London, what is this? London, what is this? Councilor Morgan? This is Adelaide Hahn. She's... okay, it's a woman, I thought. I was thinking, she's hot, but her shoulder's kind of broad, and she has a really nice suit on. Is this a woman, or is this like a man? No, instead she's just another hot pantsuit lady. She's a blue blood. Hey, I'm a perfectly legitimate career woman. You're speaking to a Sienna Security site manager. If you need anything, miss, please don't hesitate to reach out. Hahn's card. Adelaide Hahn, site manager. Adelaide Hahn's business card, listing her as a site manager at Sienna Security, a known front for the Blue Blood criminal organization. Includes her personal contact number on top of her work details, for some reason. She's probably hitting on people or something. A real business card? It even has a watermark. I'm not familiar with Sienna's. We're a private security and investigating firm. We provide bouncers and armed escorts. Oh. Sienna's Private Security, LLC. Sienna Security is a trusted partner in your business ventures, offering a suite of private security services, including but not limited to bodyguards, convoys, bouncers, private investigators, paternity tests, family history research, and shipping insurance. Paternity tests? What? Answer a few questions about your needs in our portal below, and we'll get you set up with the peace of mind you've been searching for. Your browser may prompt you with a security pop-up when interacting with some of the features in our site. You can safely disregard these messages as they are related to a legal matter that has already been settled out of court. We apologize for the disruption in your site experience. Ready to get started? We provide bouncers, armed escorts, we catch cheating partners, find runaway debtors, run paternity tests, that kind of stuff. Sorry, but have we met somewhere? No, it can't be. I'd never forget a beauty like you. She's the Hound's lawyer, Han. Seriously? She works for those copperhead scumbags? So we're mortal enemies? That sucks. Another life then, eh? But I'll still play nice if you will. Oh my god, she's 183. What the fuck? She's almost 6 feet tall. Yeah, my microphone did cut out. That's weird. How long have I been silent? I guess I bumped my microphone. Not long. Yeah, laundry, just because she doesn't like laundry day doesn't... Just because she avoids laundry day doesn't mean she smells bad. Could just be something like 30 seconds. Oh, okay. I guess I bumped it somehow. I'll still play nice if you will. Right. So you're private security and you're currently securing this crime scene. Yeah? What's with the tone? What you're hearing is genuine bewilderment. London, why are the police letting blue bloods contaminate the crime scene where a cop died? Come on, we don't have cooties. If this wasn't the location where a cop died, we'd have already turned full control over to them. What? The police contract out the security around crime scenes to private companies all the time. And around here, the private company best suited for the job happened to be Sienna's. Letting them conduct their own side investigations is a small concession to keep the peace. A small concession? They're probably in there destroying evidence as we speak. Oh yeah, the ARC's augmented reality crime scene. Yeah, they have the recreations of the crime scenes in absolute perfect detail. Programmed and distributed by a small number of tech corporations and frequently modified or even personalized by local municipalities, ARC's systems are used by every major police force, most insurance investigators, and many law firms. After its introduction in the early 2060s, the technology briefly came under public scrutiny when the independent news organization United Media Casters released a series of reports claiming that ARC's data was regularly edited by corrupt officials to erase state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake, and UMC were exposed as a subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, who were marketing a number of alternatives to ARC's technology at the time. Board members at Lambda denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors in suing leadership at UNC, but the proceedings and settlements of those lawsuits remained sealed. I think that's new information about ARCs. We have the ARCs to preserve the crime scene. They could burn the building down, and we'd still have a pristine copy. London Bridges is trying to save face. The police couldn't keep this crime scene off limits without our help, and he knows it. Gremlins wouldn't be smashing their shiny cameras and popping their expensive tires round the clock if we weren't here. Lower Ward's kids take out drones by tossing shoes at them for fun. Is that why you see shoes hanging off of wires? No, I don't know why that happens. It's just a thing teens have always done for fun. Mystery solved? Fine. Maybe the cops and the Blue Bloods are all consummate professionals who never even bicker. What kind of impartiality can I expect coming here to defend an Icaria? Well, you might get some ugly looks from those with less chivalry, but no one's gonna get in your way. We know how defense attorneys operate. We damn well know how you usually win. No one's gonna do anything that'd let you worm the Hound out of his life sentence on a technicality. You sure you wouldn't prefer that? To have him back out on the street so you could take another shot at him? Oh, so flattery. That's how you flirt? What does that mean? You think we'd ever manage to gun down the Hound of Icaria in the street? Shank him in a holding cell? Blue Bloods took him alive just fine the other day, Blue Bloods took him alive just fine the other day, didn't they? Yeah, and look what happened to them afterwards. So you won't tamper with the crime scene just because you want to make sure the state lobotomizes Sosuke for pentuple homicide. Yeah. I mean, we also literally get paid good money to do these kinds of jobs, so we have a reputation to maintain. Rate us 5 stars when you're done looking around, okay? I'll be sure to leave a glowing review. So this is the main entrance. The front door's locked, about as heavy as I remember, but it's unlocked. What's that? How was this door found? Choppin and Rogers were the first officers on the scene responding to gunfire. Someone heard that? Good thing I cleaned up fast. Checked the area, then entered through the front door. The door was definitely locked when I arrived, but I didn't lock it behind me when I left. I didn't have any keys. Admiring our handiwork? This is a Cyanus installation. Who else would Blue Bloods trust to secure Blue Blood buildings? How does it lock? You never used a key before? I want to know how the lock functions. Does it lock behind you automatically? That's a good question. You looking to buy? 'Cause I could set you up. It is a good question, Han. Why don't you answer it? Yeah, this model locks behind you by default. You need a key to get in if someone doesn't unlock it for you from inside. A physical key. Physical keys can't be hacked or overridden by a police badge. Some people consider these useful features. Is that why the door's ajar? Looks like the lock's been destroyed. Am I muted again? No. Was it found like this? Yeah, and as for the arcs, as long as the arcs have been up. The front door entrance to the crime scene utilizes a physical lock and key mechanism designed to automatically lock behind you when leaving. The lock is currently damaged and non-functional. Trey definitely had to unlock it to let me inside. I didn't think to see if it had locked behind me after I left. Yeah, by the way, LBG, she absolutely fucking brutalized the people that she killed. It was actually disgusting. Like, she shot 2 of them square in the chest. But then one of the guys, she had to, like, shank him in the throat consecutively until he bled out. And the last one, she ended up smashing his skull in completely, like, pulverizing it, because he had eyes with cameras inside of them, so she had to completely destroy his head with a baseball bat, because otherwise the police would just get his eye cameras from his cadaver and know who killed him. So it was really fucking... It was so fucking brutal. Oh, and the guy that she had to, like, spend a while cutting his neck open, she had to do it with a samurai sword, and she specifically did it with her client's samurai sword. She didn't know that that was the client's sword. She didn't know she was going to be defending her client against murders that she committed, but... Nevertheless, she clumsily used his own fucking samurai sword to chop a guy's head off while he was still alive and bleeding out. Is there a reason why she's killing people besides her just being a psychopath? One of them asks her that before he dies, and she refuses to answer. She answers with ... He's like, "What is your reason?" And then she just doesn't answer. Which I take as her either admitting that there's literally no reason and she is a psychopath, or she does have a reason and she just simply refuses to think or talk about it. It could just be that she's a psychopath. We don't know, though. Oh, Jesus. Sorry if I'm bumping the microphone around. I'm trying to position it so that it is holding the power cable into the laptop in a specific way. Alright. Yeah, for as long as the arcs have been up. It definitely wasn't locked when me and Reyes arrived, which was around 10:20 p.m.? Hang on, you and Reyes, what? Were you the second officers on scene? That's right, we weren't far when the 1099 went out at 10:15. Oh man, I love cop designations. They just say, like, 2 numbers that refer to a code of their local police department, and they just know through their training what each number code means. It's so fucking cool. I don't know what's more interesting, her being a psycho and a lawyer, or her having a legit reason for why she's killing. I don't know, either. I don't know which I would prefer. And honestly, I don't know if I care, as long as she's a consistently written character. Like, if this whole story ends up being about her getting enclosed upon by all these social things in her life that are potentially getting her caught for her murders, like, my assumption is that, like, the ultimate ending is she either, like, gives up and confesses, or she, like, dies or something. Because there's so many different things coming in and closing in around her. Like, this case, like, the first case she did, she almost got herself thrown in prison. But she did it but she defended Sarah in spite of the fact that she could have just had Sarah killed. And then she would have walked away scot-free, but she actually almost risked going to prison just to protect Sarah. That's not even to mention that when we first saw Sosuke in the beginning sequence of this game, when he was chained up in the room with the four after because, like, what happened is that Morgan murdered these four gangsters, and then she went inside their closet where Sosuke Ikaria was. He was there being tortured. And when we first saw him, I thought that his presence there meant that the scene was a flashback to when she met David. but then after that scene went through, it was like, okay, no, that wasn't David. That was not a flashback. Morgan literally just did this, and then within 24, and then within like 48 hours, she was then hired to defend Sosuke. So, and I mention that because it makes me wonder what exactly her soft spot is, because she could have just killed Sosuke. She could have just killed him. She didn't have to leave him there. But because he was blindfolded, and almost dead from being beaten to death, she just left his sword there with him, and then left him there, in the wake of all the people she killed. And so it makes me wonder why she's permitting these types of things. Unless there's some sort of influence that David and Sarah very specifically have on her that's making her behavior change from her normal behaviors, from her normal psycho behaviors, her psycho killer behaviors. It makes me wonder why specifically David and Sarah were doing that, and is the fact that Sosuke has green hair somehow, like, a factor in her brain? Like, she saw a man hurt and beaten with green hair, and she decides to not kill him for some reason other than, oh, he didn't see me kill them, so it's fine. I feel like there is something softening within her as a result of these events, and the story is gonna suffocate her more and more each episode until there's no way for her to move. There's, like, she's just in checkmate, and then she has to make some sort of choice. And I don't know what her choice will be, but I don't know if I mind, as long as she's consistently written the whole time. 1099. Jargon, an emergency response code most often used to relay officer down. I think last time I watched a buddy comment video, 1040 was an officer is dead. So 1099, at least in this department, in this story, 1099 means officer down, but not necessarily officer dead. 10999 is an emergency response code utilized in municipal systems around the nation, most frequently to signify that one or more first responders' lives are in danger. Most police departments' standard issue suite of biomonitors allow for this code to be sent out across emergency networks automatically when cardiac activity is disrupted or blood pressure changes rapidly. Wow. Due to the non-negligible chance that moderate exercise could be misinterpreted by biomonitors, leading to false alarms, some departments make it a policy to avoid enabling the automatic alert function. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Good thing I have my life alert. That's right, we weren't far when the 10999 went out at 10:15. Long way from precinct 254, isn't it? We were in the area. Awkward. You want the tour then? Actually, I'd like to check out the alley first. You know the crime scene's on the 3rd floor, right? Yeah, but it has a window that opens to the alley, doesn't it? I just prefer to start from the bottom and work my way up sometimes. Sure, we can start there. Just be careful where you step, if you like those boots at all. Yeah, no fucking kidding. Let's save the game. It was much darker last night than it is now. Oh my god, this all happened last night? Man, this is rapid. This is lightning fast. I guess in an age of such utter unbelievable amounts of technology, there is no rest, is there? Like, do these people even get to sleep? Can they even sleep when no matter where they are, there's just lights and noise and no ecology to soften things? Like, holy shit, she fucking killed all these people literally last night, and now she's fucking inspecting it the day after. Fucking wow. That was so quick. But even so, this looks like it's been moved, huh? Yes, was trash picked up last night, perhaps? Checking the model number on the side. Looks like dumpsters of this make haven't been picked up by the city in a decade. Did you know that dumpsters are actually a brand? And that they were never called... They were never supposed to all be called dumpsters? Dumpsters is a brand. It's like Kleenex. They're not supposed to be called all Kleenexes. They're tissue paper. That means this game was made in America, which means it probably is set in future America. However, it's probably... I still think this is Britain. There's a very specific type and level of diversity going on that makes me think there's this culturally this has to be Britain or something. Or Band-Aids. Yeah, Band-Aids as opposed to bandages, yeah. I didn't realize there was DRM on trash cans. It's a heavy model, tough to lift, even if its wheels weren't broken. And designed for containing industrial waste. How it ended up here in a residential district is... Isn't that hard to puzzle out, is it? It was cheaper for the Megs to dump their shit on us than it was to haul it to a landfill. Is that why I can see markings in the ground there? From leaks? Oh, you really are a tourist, aren't you? I've been in the lower wards before, but only at night, right? Rain's dirty down here, stains the ground wherever it falls. Acid rain? Like from the history books? Not quite that bad, just smog combined with precipitation combined with the charms of the city to make dirty rain. Like I said, lower wards, spring water. There's a shot named after it. Tequila and pickle juice. Ugh. That sounds disgusting. I don't even like tequila. I like pickles are great, but pickle juice is like, ugh. So is the dumpster empty? Let's see. Hey, grab a glove if you're gonna... Yeah, it's mostly empty, except for a bunch of scrap mold at the bottom. Explains why I can't get it to budge. Careful, if you get your toe trapped under there, don't look at me for help just because I'm modded. Are you saying you couldn't budge it either? I could if a girl was cheering me on. Okay, London, thanks. Don't know what I was expecting to find, really. Morgan is so fucking asexual. See, she is so sick of everybody hitting on her. Which I find endearing, because she is also a fucking misanthropic murderer. It'd be kind of weird if she was also a whore. Now, just watch it so you don't... Let the lid slam. An industrial dumpster found in the alley just next to the crime scene. Incredibly heavy, yet still shows sign of having been moved recently. The lid makes a very unpleasant sound as uncovered by Detective London's thorough investigating. Sorry? One problem with blue bloods and cops running security, I don't know who to blame for leaving their shit here. I'll give the moral high ground to whichever part of society learns to pick up after themselves first. How the fuck did that happen? Okay, okay. At what point did I stop? Which paragraph did I stop being heard at? Like the second one, maybe? Did none of that go through? Oh, fuck. Like, right as you opened it. Okay. Panic abounded last week on campus when computer labs at Technica University were set ablaze in the early hours of the morning. Students and faculty skirted the campus in anxious, hunched postures as federal agents descended on the lab's vicinity, searching for signs that could point to a culprit. But as of today, the fire has officially been ruled an accident and successfully traced back to a cooling system failure in the basement's main server hub. A freak accident that has provided simultaneous relief and confusion. Okay. To the community. When the fire was first reported on, many were quick to point out its similarities to other fires and bombings recently reported as sweeping eastward across the nation. Dubbed by some members of the press as work of the Witch of the West, each incident appears to have targeted data infrastructure, hitting state corporate and academic nerve centers and leaving behind significant financial grief in the aftermath. Hundreds of thousands of files related to student debt, all of it non-recoverable, said one anonymous campus security specialist after their university student registry records went up in literal smoke. I'm also on Monster Hunter Wilds with the boys, so I'm in and out, but you weren't muted long. Okay. We're reaching out. Okay, said one anonymous campus security specialist after a while in smoke. We're researching out to alumni as quickly as we can to try and piece their records back together, but frankly, a lot of them have been less than easier to speak with us. And we may have no choice but to re-examine payment plans for our current students' tuition. Federal investigative officials have no formal comments at this time, but some local law... Oh my god. Okay, this is getting warm. I'm not sure why. Federal investigative officials have no formal comments this time, but some local law enforcement officers have described seeing federal agents frustrated with the so-called witch. Criticism of the response has begun to surface from the political realm, with Senator Colt now formally calling out the Director of Investigations to testify as to the progress or lack thereof in the search for this serial arsonist and other notable... Hey, we don't seem to have your database. Fuck you. I feel like I've heard stories about bombings out west the past few months. But I didn't know they'd all been attributed to one person, or that they're now calling them the Witch of the West. There's no mention of victims, only data centers being targeted. But clearly this witch is hitting someone where it hurts, if they've now got... What really stands out here is that the federal investigators are getting involved. The witch is doing God's work. Yeah, they're eliminating student debt, so yes, I agree. Most national security agencies were absorbed into the military police complex decades ago. That bureau survived, but it's a mere fraction of the size it used to be, and very different in its function. Their modern reputation is that of attack dogs deployed by the state to make examples of political targets. I can't say I like the idea of them being out there hunting for serial offenders. Yeah, because she's a serial offender. This fire escape would lead right up to the crime scene, assuming it doesn't come crashing down once you step onto it. It's missing the ladder that would connect it to the street level. You're violating fire code with this tetanus trap, Han. Building inspection's not my department. Besides, who'd want to climb up into a burning building? Firefighters. You're funny, Bridges. Even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to have a lower ward's property from burning down. Derogatory term for an automated dependent. Oh yeah, a derogatory term for automated dependents, particularly ones licensed by or operating under the authority of the state. Interested parties in the automated dependent industries have, on one or more than one occasion, lobbied for copper and other terms like it, clanker, chrome dome, microchip breath to be classified as hate speech, arguing that anti-mechanical sentiment constitutes an expression of prejudice. It's the meme. It's the meme. Clanker with a hard R is there. It is. There's the meme. They didn't put in the best one though. Wireback. That's the funniest one because it's so fucking dumb. I'll be damned if I'm gonna be stopped from saying clanker. Were considered a form of hate speech, incidents of destruction of corporate property where such terms are used in prior communications would qualify for additional severity and higher fines paid toward the damaged party. Under all but the most radical interpretations of hate speech law, however, prejudice can only be directed towards sentient living things, people, animals, or corporations. No! You can have hate speech against corporations and animals in this universe. No! PETA and Goldman Sachs. You say the wrong thing, you'll get arrested for hate speech. This is definitely Britain. There's no way this isn't Britain. This game takes place in 2086 Britain. There's no fucking way it's anything other than... It has to be in Britain with this type of insanity. Even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to save a lower ward's property from burning down. An ad could probably make the jump up there. Ads are heavy. If an android leaped onto that, the whole mess would probably come down on top of them. Fire escape. The fire escape connected to the room where the crime took place. Rusty and poorly maintained. It's missing the ladder that would normally let you climb up from the street, so one could only freely move back and forth between the third floor room where the bodies were found, the second floor room, and second floor beneath it. Yeah, modders are heavy too. Hey! Looks like the only way into the building is through the front door, then. With hate speech laws, it's gotta be. Yeah, this has to be Britain. Okay, like, in the United States, we classify corporations, or at least we used to in the Supreme Court, we used to classify corporations as though they were individual people. But even after we did that, we didn't extend hate speech laws to corporations. But you want to know what people would, like, who would be dumb enough to put hate speech laws towards corporations? Fucking Britain. That's who. It has to be Britain. We have to be in Britain in 60 years from now. Alright, I'm done back here. So I think I've seen everything That's right. I was standing here last night when... It was dark and foggy. The kid was too far off to make out my face. Weren't they? What is it, Tiger? Nothing. Thought I saw someone out of the corner of my eye, that's all. Yeah? Around here, maybe it was an unlisted. What, do you... Those are real? Won't someone think of the shareholders? Keep to themselves, obviously, but yeah, they're real. I've met some. They inform, sometimes on what they've seen, and never come in to testify, of course. You'd think they'd stand out dressing like that, but if their camouflage didn't work, they wouldn't be unlisted, right? What do you mean they keep to themselves? Don't they work with any of the gangs down here? Sorry, have I gotten your hopes up or something? Trust me, you've got a better chance of winning the lottery than running into one. Right. Forget I asked. Unlisted. Term for individuals who are not actively registered in any state database. Yet, the fact that Morgan asked if somebody like that is real is very telling for this setting. You cannot even be born into this universe, this game's universe, and not be known by the state immediately. And to the point that Morgan is like, wait, that's real? That can't be possible, that there are people that are undocumented by the state. That can't be possible. She literally thinks it's impossible. Until London just sort of insisted to her that it is in fact true. Unlisted is an informal designation. Yes. For much of the 21st century, individuals of this description were more often undocumented immigrants. Following shifts in immigration patterns and the implementation of the Military Service Citizenship Program, aka the Minuteman Bill, undocumented immigration has sharply declined. While many non-citizens do live and work within the country, they are tracked through immigration monitoring and services or as part of their military service agreement until they either leave the country or are fully naturalized at the end of their service. That's not the worst way to solve some mass immigration, is to just be like, if you want to stay here, you have to work in our military. And if you don't play by those rules, we throw you out. That actually seems kind of that seems kind of reasonable. It is very Starship Troopers-like, though, which is probably not something you should be trying to emulate, even though Super Earth is hilarious. Hey, how you doing, CJ? You're here for the last 20, 30, 40 minutes. My wife! Yes, Morgan is back. Fuck, I got an ad. Oh, I apologize. Hey, if you're not using your Prime on anything else, though, well, you can get rid of those ads. I shouldn't say that, though. That's manipulative. I am terrible. I will crucify myself later. Today, unlisted mostly refers to small groups of seasonal workers who travel the country in migrating caravans to find work, undercutting corporate contracts on various agricultural or fungal installations. Sorry, I was watching Artemis 2 Splashdown until now. That's fine. I gotta say, like, I'm not getting a lot of Artemis content in my, like, YouTube feed, and I haven't been watching it live, but I am very excited that we are going back to the moon. And the idea that we're going to launch another one next year is, woo! That's fucking awesome. That is so fucking cool. I hope that before I die, like, at the age of 90 to 100 or some shit, is preferable. That I at least see to the day that humanity has a fucking working moon base where people are living on the moon. I want to see that future. Fuck, if they make it so that tourists can go there, then I want to go there as, like, on my bucket list. I want to take a tour to the moon base on my centenarian bucket list. No training, just technology and progression of human ingenuity actually putting us on another body. Because that is the moment that we are no longer a planetary civilization. We are an interplanetary civilization officially. And hopefully, we don't crack the moon open and it has the Orokin inside of it. That would suck. Also, no Prime in Croatia. The last time I checked, it was like... Checked there was like 4 years ago. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, don't you use a VPN anyway? Couldn't you do Prime through a VPN, or does it just not work that way? Whatever. You don't need to give me attention and money if you don't want to. So, that's fine. Some anthropological studies have described groups of unlisted living as in urban, generally poorer areas as what are effectively homeless communities. Unlike most homeless people, the overwhelming majority of whom are unhoused for less than 2 weeks, these unlisted actively refuse state housing assistance or assistance of any kind. Concerns about malnourishment, illiteracy, extreme poverty, and rampant mental illness within unlisted populations has, at times, spurred outreach programs that attempt to contact them, but by their very nature as unlisted, actual data on their quality of life or cultural practices is virtually non-existent, making most politicians hesitant to commit resources towards these causes. So... Whoa. Whoops. I squeezed my water bottle a little bit, and a little water came out. So... This sounds almost to me like somewhere in these fucking concrete jungles there are uncontacted tribes of poor people who refuse to have this, who refuse to interact with the state. They're like super libertarians or something. You ever looked at the Amazon rainforest, seen those tribes of mostly naked people, and been like, man, base libertarian? Fucking anarcho-primitivism. Right, forget I asked. You ready to go inside? I think so, so long as... No, I'm not with anyone else, it's just me here. Because she's shrill, princess. And delusional, you know that. I'm sure she'll catch up. Oh, God. So you were saying this used to be an apartment building? Somewhere between that and a long-stay motel, yeah. Blue Bloods didn't deviate far from that model when they took over. They call rooms like these vaults, places to stash away a lover, witness, debtor, when there's too much heat. You've gone through all these vaults, I take it? Cyanus helped us with that last night? Yeah, bringing around master keys, clearing out every possible hiding place. Didn't find a red-handed killer hiding anywhere, did you? Sorry, no. So this is the Blue Bloods' forte, then, securing people, places, and things. You could think of it that way. Guess I always assumed gangs made their money through drugs. Well, the Blue Bloods do deal here and there. But narcotics have been a rich man's game ever since the CDCA rolled in. Contraband Decriminalization Act. It's a series of laws passed in the 2060s that decriminalized all narcotic use and established the Bureau of Narcotics Oversight to administrate the production, licensing, distribution, and taxation of drugs across the country. Overwhelmed by civil unrest and eager to replenish government coffers, the CDCA were intended to reduce the backlog of criminal cases across the country and provide much-needed tax income, while also incentivizing immigration with the promise of amnesty. In what was considered a domino effect, other major nations around the globe passed comparable laws to build up their own depleted war chests and revitalize their local economies. The so-called white wave of global amnesty overturned the international drug trafficking market in just a few short years. Careful. Careful what color words you put in front of the word wave. Might get Napoleon again. If you're not careful. The gray wave followed soon after, as money-starved criminal organizations waged economic and literal war against multinational corporations for dominance of this new gray market. Fierce competition for government licenses to produce classic narcotics emerged alongside a race to develop drugs and to monopolize on their sale in the months it would take the government to identify and legalize them. While rates of addiction and overdose deaths have dropped since their peaks in the last 2 decades, the dangers associated with untested designer drugs and drug distributors' eagerness to earn new customers has continued to fuel debate over the legacy of the CDCA and the white wave as a whole. Narcotics has been a rich man's game ever since the CDCA rolled in. If you have the funds to ride the gray wave the way the House Icaria does, you can make a killing. They've got the market cornered from black to gray to white to pure green profit. The Blue Bloods hate that they have to make do with all the scraps the Megs in the house don't bother producing en masse. Professional jealousy. How ugly. Why can't these underworld overlords just bury the hatchet, get together, and screw over the consumer like reasonable people do? They've tried, if you believe the rumors. About a year ago now, there was some kind of meeting, and all have branched from the golds to the blues. Apparently the Blue Bloods had a product that the Icaria wanted to distribute. The Icaria sell legal drugs now, though. And what kind of product could the Blue Bloods have that the Icaria couldn't manufacture? Not sure. Maybe that's why it went south so fast. Blood was spilled in less than an hour. The Icaria aren't the type to keep negotiating after being spat on like that. And so the Blue Bloods remain firmly planted in their lower wards niche. They might not like having to take the low end, but they are filling a gap in the market. Like an ecosystem. That's something that people don't necessarily understand about economics, is that it's very similar to the biological functions of an ecosystem. Like when you look out into a coral reef or onto an island like Madagascar, like everything to do with ecological niches can be attributed very, very similarly to economics. The only problem with economics, though, is that they're produced by human incentives, and so the result is that we can manipulate each other in ways that an ecological niche will just have things go extinct, whereas humans will attempt to play God and get each other killed in an attempt to play God with the economy. You know. But obviously, if left unchecked, then you would start to have an ecosystem in the economy that is so natural that it results in, like, a lot of people just being cruelly just destroyed, more or less. So it's like an ecosystem that we want it to be healthy and natural, but if every time we let it that happen, it starts killing people. That's every proper capitalist's calling, right? Besides, the workers certainly appreciate their protection down here. Workers hire Blue Bloods for protection, but all that stuff is legal so long as they're licensed, isn't it? Legal? Yes. Respectable? Most would still say no. So, household name security, Megs consider it too high risk to be seen in the company of workers. Oh! Abbreviated form of sex worker. Worker is a shortened form of the term sex worker, generally used to refer to individuals who are legally licensed as such, as opposed to those who are engaging in sex work outside of legal guidelines. Sex workers operating in high-end establishments, generally in specifically zoned municipal districts with high median property prices, cloud districts, and catering to only specific clientele, may be more commonly referred to as courtesans. Doesn't help that their average board member is easily pushing 60 years old. You aren't that far from pushing 60 yourself, are you? Matter of opinion. Besides, I'm a very modern, forward-thinking man. Did you finish those 50 rosaries already? Right. And the Icaria, they don't, compete in that market? No. People at the Icaria's heights might patronize a courtesan or two in the cloud districts, but they'd never lower themselves to work alongside one. Hypocrites. That much I understand perfectly. The hypocrisy is the appeal for them. The rules don't apply to me. You could ask for a more pure expression of power. Damn. Worse than I remember. Like a demon tore through the place. Seriously, what the hell happened here? That's what we all get paid to find out, right? Yeah, guess what all these bloodstains are? These were where Morgan murdered these people. Brutally. See this desk that you can barely see between these two? She shot the fucking leader of this group of four in the middle of his fucking abdomen, and he slowly died from a shot in the stomach. Probably died as a result of all the bleeding from his liver, because the gun... She described the gunshot as putting a hole through them, like visibly through them. So it was a very powerful gun, which I would imagine would be the case in this setting 60 years in the future. Yes, guns are going to be even more deadly and absurd. But yeah, right at that desk, she fucking blew a hole in that guy's chest. Right there, blew a hole so big that his heart was destroyed. This guy right here, she chopped his head off with the fucking sword. And then this guy, she beat his head open. Huh? What? My microphone should be working. It says it's working. FMJ will go through someone now? Like, literally, my thing says that my microphone is working. Is it not work? Never mind, I muted you. It's about to say, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? What happened? I muted somehow. Could be Twitch being a piece of shit. I don't know. But yeah, like, and this spot here is where she fucking bashed that guy's skull into a paste to destroy his eyeballs. Oh god, it was fucking brutal. You wanna know what was the funniest part during that scene? Is that in between the frames of her talking to them in the final moments of the conversation before she started killing them, it would flash the individual words of, you know, trigger warning, this is gonna display a lot of gratuitous violence. And then it suggested that you close the game if you're sensitive to flashing lights, and then she fucking massacred them. It was oh my god. Go watch the first stream. Oh wait, I need to finish the upload. When I finish those uploads later, you should go watch the first streams of this episode. I've definitely got a head start on the rest of you, though. Shall we bring up the arcs? Sure. I'm invested in my wife. Yeah, I've been a doofus and I haven't finished the uploads yet. I need to just do the timestamps and the titles, and then I'll release both of them. The first one ended at such a funny meme. Both of the streams last week ended on a meme. It was funny. I'll patch you in. Allow me! If you're needed on the phone, Miss Han, please don't let me keep you here. Nonsense! I've got all the time in the world for you. Everyone's treating me like royalty today. Arcs user portal. All right. Augmented reality crime scene. Took the words right out of my mouth. Where shall we start? How about with the tall, dark, and mysterious in the middle here? That's your client. He was found standing over Chopin's body by the arresting officer. Rogers, right? And then he knocked Sosuke out. Correct. See this guy here? That's the guy that Morgan crushed his head into a paste. So why is it this artistic rendition of Sosuke, not a capture from Roger's body cam? Well, it seems like at the time, their body cam was off. Seriously? Hey, I'd chew him out myself if he was here with us. It's department policy to have all sensors green when responding to an emergency. Did all this not qualify as an emergency, then? Chopin and Rogers were responding to shots fired. That's not uncommon in this part of town. For two inexperienced officers, first on the scene, it might have not come to mind. At least Chopin could use that excuse. Rest in peace. But apparently Rogers requests replacement body cams nearly every week. Okay, if he's that big of a klutz, take away his gun once the city's done throwing him a parade. I'll put in a request. Right then, who's next? You decide! No, I'm joking. This is the guy that first we stabbed him in the throat. Then we used the sword to fucking try to chop his head off. But then the sword ended up killing this guy. I'll go at who the hell last. Windows open to the fire escape in the alley below. There's a thin misting of blood across them. Got a good guess as to who it belongs to. Yeah, that was when we shot Creek in the stomach. Blew out. It went all the way through him. All of this splattered behind him. the fucking man, what a powerful gun. Jesus. This is where we found Creek, leader of the pod. Ballistics tell us the shooter was standing in front of the desk, near where my client was found. Your words, not mine. Nasty slug burst in his chest, blue blood black on the window behind me. The slug exploded in his chest. This is like a fucking bolter from 40K, the fucking handgun that we used. The open windows. Hell of a spread. Yes, it is. Did someone open these, or... No, they were open when we secured the scene. Any fingerprints? Plenty on the handles there from Creek and his pod. That's where the handles are? I think there was an entry about bolter bullets in, like, the first chapter. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing, yeah. The windows at the scene of the crime, positioned behind Creek's desk, opens to the alley and the fire escape. Blood splatter across the windows has, through forensic analysis, been traced back to when a Magnus shell split inside Creek's ribcage, spraying blood and viscera behind him. Fingerprints on the handles match Creek and the rest of his... The fact that Creek was able to survive long enough to have a conversation with Morgan is fucking impressive. He must have had mods to help keep him alive. Like, it exploded in his ribcage. How the fuck did he survive long enough to, like, have a conversation with us? That's crazy. Something wrong? Definitely. But how the hell could I explain why I know that? No, sorry, I guess I'm wondering about the keys around his neck and the arcs. Yeah. Oh. Well, one was a master key, could unlock any other door in the building. The other key we eventually paired to a small safe in his desk. Empty, though. Okay, so, you guys who weren't there when I did the first two streams, the entire reason Morgan came down here and killed these guys wasn't just for fun. It's because in the safe was a piece of espionage technology that she is going to use to erase her own profile when she goes out to kill people. Because what it is a mask that, if it is spotted, if the mask begins to be scanned by a camera system, it will immediately hack that camera system with a super virus and destroy the entire network in that district area. So it's basically a piece of espionage technology that Morgan could use to erase her own files from any visual records if she goes out to kill somebody and she suspects she's gonna get caught. So that's the reason she even came here. Is that she killed these dudes, she took the key, opened the safe, and stole the mask. I don't know where she has the mask right now, but she did wear it right before she finished the job and talked to Creek and had a conversation with Creek while he was bleeding out. So that's the safe London is talking about here, is the safe that had the mask in it that Morgan stole after she shot and killed them. On the other key we eventually paired to a small safe in his desk. Empty, though. Suppose that's all irrelevant, since he apparently died with the keys on his person. Yeah, they caught my eye too, to be honest, but not every detective's instinct pans out. So who was this guy? Curious? Only professionally. Yeah, because she got to know him kinda, not, quote-unquote, well. As he was dying from having his fucking organs exploded out of his back. Only professionally. I don't care what he was before I killed him. Criminal record dating back as far as it goes. Sealed when he turned 18. What makes you so sure he has a juvenile record, then? The more experience these guys get, the more time in between their arrests. Pattern I'm seeing, he was pretty damn experienced by the time he was of age. You trying to compliment him? I wasn't trying to insult him, Han. Anything you'd like to add? Nah, nothing I want to say in front of you two. If you were to say a few words, the detective and I could step. Only words I have are for his killer. I'd deliver them in person, or not at all. Fair enough. You have any idea why someone might want to hurt this Creek fellow? That's not funny. That dog you're defending. It's a fair question, Han. Give it a fair consideration. Besides the Icaria, the Rust, or our city's finest? No, Creek was charismatic and driven. Plus, he made us a lot of money. No true blue would want him gone. By the way, the Rust is a reference to a bunch of other gangs that okay, so what you guys don't know from what's going on. So first of all, House Icaria, they are a part of old money that is transitioned into new money. So they're like also where his daughter. Okay, so you weren't here earlier in this specific stream. She and Reyes are currently at the police station guarding our client. Because they don't trust sending him to a hospital because they consider him an active homicide suspect who has military-grade mods. So they are currently guarding him at the police station. That's where Sarah and Reyes is right now, while Morgan and London are here investigating. But yeah, like the whole criminal organization shit going on in this chapter of the game, House Icaria, they're like a crime family that are masquerading as legitimate. So they're like in the upper sections of the city. Down here we have the Blue Bloods and the Rust. The Rust are a loose series of gangs that originated with a bunch of labor unions on the mainland, who basically are escaping police investigations by being like a loose series of organizations. But everybody knows privately, everybody knows that they are all a part of a very large, network of gangs that are together trying to make ends meet in the lower wards. Then there's the Blue Bloods, like who Han is a part of, and the Blue Bloods are similar in that they originated from being a bunch of shipping unions that were in control of the Pacific, or of trade routes. And so the result is that they also have like a ground gang presence on port cities, which is another reason I think that this is taking place in Britain, because everywhere on the British Isles, you are like at least an hour from the ocean. So that would explain why the Blue Bloods and the Rust exist in Britain at the same time in this city. Obviously, this could be any place, technically be any place in the world that has a port city. Hence why the Blue Bloods have a presence there. But yeah, that's I'm just re-informing y'all on that. Since I'm a doofus and I haven't finished uploading the first two streams. So the whole thing with the Icaria like negotiating with the Blue Bloods, that's like a big deal for both sides, because The Blue Bloods are technically like lowly in comparison. The bloodthirsty Ikaria soldier he was interrogating, however, probably wasn't a huge fan. What about family? This is getting old fast. Younger brother's listed as his next of kin. Leave his brother out of this. Hell, leave me out of this. Rooting through a person like you're picking at zits. Well, seems he's out of town anyway, taking summer lessons at Howe Mariner University. That's a good school. An expensive school. Younger brother has no listed occupation. Also no priors and no juvenile record. TAD at age? Poor kid. Pills for that cost? An arm and a leg. Creek must have been sending him... Detective, did you just leak the confidential medical data of a non-suspect to a third party? Hey, you don't have to report. How about I buy you an ice cream or something? Bribery too? You're digging yourself pretty deep. Is it still bribery if I'm the government official? Inspect. This screen, I turned it on to distract Tanks long enough to grab his gun. And I remember choosing not to turn it back off. Interesting setup. Powerful setup was blaring when we arrived. The sound system, I mean. One of the CS techs is a real audiophile. Said it broke her heart how loud they must have blared the speakers at the time. Wears it out, she said. Sound system. A sound system found at the scene of the crime. According to the ARCs, the system was still playing music loudly by the time the crime scene techs started scanning the environment. It really was giving me a headache when I turned it off. Didn't enjoy having to turn it back on before I left just to leave no trace. I wouldn't count on orcas to value the longevity of their tech purchases. Read. Scan. Blood loss from the neck, even I can tell that much. Stabbed with a bladed weapon right near the carotid artery. Very efficient. Not the kind of kill someone could make without prior experience. My client's a humble bodyguard. Come on now, I know you got a job to do, but you'll shame him if you don't let him take credit for this one. Miller was no joke in a fight. To take him out with one clean stab to the neck using his precious signature katana? The hound must be itching to brag about it. I'll defer to the medical examiner on this matter, thank you very much. What do you mean? Sato said the same thing. Katana to the neck in not so many words. Is Miller's blood even on the katana? Because... wait, oh, wait, I thought... I'm trying to get it straight in my head. Is Miller's blood even on the katana? I mean... I thought that she had chopped into his neck with the katana, so I'm not sure why she's wondering. I guess my memory is bad. Maybe she cut somebody else's head off. Even if it is, why would a medical examiner assume the katana was used here when my knife is a much better fit for... my knife? Where is it? Where? I gave Sosuke the knife before I left. It should have been found on him when he was arrested. It should be somewhere in the ARCs. You looking for something, Tiger? If they haven't found the knife and I ask about it anyway, that'd mean admitting that I know it's missing. If I tell them Sosuke mentioned a knife that only the killer would know about, I'd be ruining my case before we could even enter the courtroom. Or worse, pointing the police in the direction of the knife's real origin. Oh, so she doesn't know how the police officer died in this room, and now she doesn't even know where her fucking knife is. No, was anything found on my client's person when he was arrested? Besides a gun, a sword, and a bunch of blood that didn't belong to him? No, not even any lint in his pockets. Why do you ask? No reason. Sometimes you gotta shake the tree to see what falls out, or so they say. Oh, you were blindly glancing. I've been there. Something must have happened to that knife. It couldn't have just disappeared, not from a crime scene locked down like this. I'll need to find it, but I can't just go looking for it. Is this what it feels like to play with a handicap? I don't remember if I had the choice to take the knife with me or not. Or if that was scripted, that she had to... that, like, the story automatically put the knife in Sosuke's hand. Assess. Yep, that's the guy whose head we absolutely obliterated. We fucking turned it to mush to destroy his eyeballs. I'd advise you to brace yourself before opening the autopsy photos for this one, counselor. Yes, this is sufficiently obfuscated. A lot to take in. The skull was crushed. Yep. She did that with a baseball bat. Yes, but the cause of death was blood loss from a laceration across the... Oh, okay, so... Okay, my bad earlier. She fucking chopped Trey's neck open with the blade, and then she crushed his neck... crushed his head with the baseball bat. He'll be okay. He can regrow it. This isn't Men in Black. He hit the floor and bled out in seconds. Everything else you're seeing here is post-mortem overkill. Not the word I'd use for this kind of shit. Oh, calm down. I didn't do it for the fun of it. In this specific instance. Yeah, she did it because of his eyeballs. This victim had modded eyes. Seems to me like someone didn't want to take any chances. Bullshit! No one in the lower wards would get optic mods with recording functionality. You wouldn't be welcome anywhere. Interesting. So that's sort of pinning... Well, I mean, Morgan still did it because she suspected that Trey had those types of implants. You gonna claim the Hound of Icaria didn't know something that fundamental? Nah, he bashed his brains in for the fun of it. I'm sure to a law-abiding citizen like yourself, we're all scum of the earth who deserve... I'm pretty scummy myself, Han. Defense attorney, remember? Who the hell deserves shit like this? Deserves? What does that have to do with anything? I take it that was his bat? I take it that this bat did what he did the deed? Is what did the deed? Matches the splinters found inside his wounds, if you had any doubts. There's nothing else here about Sosuke's fingerprints. You think we could get anything but partials off that? It's practically splinters. Makes sense, I was one who actually swung it down, and I was wearing gloves by then. Whoever did this, they were damn enthusiastic. You know how hard it is to swing, to crush a skull, to break the bat itself? I can't imagine. She literally did that, though. A cheap wooden bat used to bludgeon Trey's skull post-mortem, splintered beyond repair during the bludgeoning. Fingerprint analysis has proven inconclusive, returning only partials. It was barring Sosuke from exiting the other room before I used it to destroy Trey's eyes. But no one else knows that, and I have no way of informing them. What a pain. Man, maybe you shouldn't be a psycho murderer, and then you wouldn't be in this situation, Morgan. Come on now. There's some faint blood that's been smeared here. Did it belong to this victim? And Sosuke. I wonder if maybe the bodies hadn't gotten moved around for some reason, but the client's legs and feet were soaked in the other's blood when he was arrested. And he would have had to sneak up on Chopin in order to stab him in the back. You think he slid his feet across the ground to avoid making noise? Does he say otherwise? I'll let you keep guessing on that one. Read. Papers scattered all over his desk. Supposedly, I'm partially to blame. I didn't exactly memorize his setup before I started searching for the mask. What's this? What'd you find in there? A note? M. Icaria. Icaria. He fucking misspelled. A note scrawled onto a small piece of paper reading M. Icaria. M. Icaria. Handwriting is by and large a match for other documents penned and initialized by Creek at the crime scene. What'd you find there? A note? Looks like Creek's handwriting from the other files I've seen. M. Icaria. Looks like M. Icaria, actually. He's dead, London. I was gonna let the spelling mistake slide. Right, sorry, but M? That's gotta be Makoto, right? You know Makoto? I know he's the Ikaria's heir apparent. From what I hear, he's an appropriately frightening young scion. He's really quite something. We met him in the first two streams. He was a character. He was quite the character. He was the overeducated stupid child. Like, you know when a kid thinks that they're smart because they have very, very great education, but they have no wisdom about them, so they're a fucking moron even though they're educated. That's Makoto Ikaruga. He was a character. Why would his name be on Creek's desk? He was Creek's real target the other day. Sosuke was some kind of consolation prize. Bagging the Hound was a consolation prize? These punks had their sights set high. Yeah, like no one taught them not to stare at the sun. Examine. Creek's fine wood desk. He seemed particular about it. Maybe in no small part because it had a priceless no mask hidden inside it, but I assume you've been through this datapad here? Front to back, but we didn't find anything we didn't already know. Seems like Creek was smart enough to use it for payments and nothing else. A simple datapad with an attachment for processing non-standard identification info, commonly sold to allow payment processing of unusual or rare forms. Besides some partials, fingerprints were found matching those of Creek and Officer Chopin. Technicians have confirmed that the datapad is locked to Creek's fingerprints, making it difficult for anyone else to use it. A dark card is stuck quite firmly into the attached card reader. The reason that's a big deal is because this is the card. Morgan used this dark card to get into this facility, period. She used this dark card to, as basically a lure to allow them to let her in here so that she could kill them. So this is technically her dark card, but it's not literally hers because she didn't use it for anything other than to get into this place to kill these people. And then she just left it here. Couldn't avoid touching it, had to at least pretend the dark card would work. Fuck, I hope her fingerprints aren't on it. Oh boy. How do you even manage that? Even gangsters need spreadsheets. Hence, the paperwork you see scattered about. They really did everything by hand? PPP is what they call it over in organized crime. Paper and pencil protocol. I'm not muted, am I? No, okay. Helps the orcas keep their books off the books. Or at least in a format that's easier to destroy should push come to shove. Did you run checks on this credit card that's jammed in here? Ah, not surprised you don't recognize it. That there's a dark card. Wow, tell me more. It's literally the one that she stole to get in here. Wow, tell me more. It's an untraceable wallet in the palm of your hand. I would hope any wallet could fit in the palm of your hand, Detective. But you really can't find the owner? Can't trace any of its transactions? Most we can tell is the datapad registered calls to dark card networks around 9:40 p.m., but it timed out. What does that mean? The transfer didn't go through. Either someone got cold feet or they forgot their password. Happens to the best of us. Physical card key that begins the authentication process for accessing funds located in a cryptographically secure account. So this is like dark web super cryptocurrency. And I imagine that Morgan killed somebody else in order to get this card so that she could come here and kill these people to get the mask. Without the fingerprints of the owner and their 24-digit passcode, the card alone is functionally useless. Forensics show that all fingerprints have been wiped off of it at some point, recovering at the crime scene stuck in the card reader of a datapad. Only reason I had to take my gloves off in the first place was because of this useless piece of plastic. So hopefully her prints are completely obliterated and not on it. Happens to the best of us. By the way, why is this cloth been flagged? Not sure. Forensics didn't find any blood on it. Who flagged it? Lady Rockford herself. Could be that she fat thumbed it. Yeah, I'm sure it's nothing. Okay. We have 2 more things to look at here, but they're both very significant, and it is very late. Thank you all very much for joining me here tonight. I really appreciate you coming here to hang out with me. We will be back tomorrow to continue this game, continue our investigation into the murder that we committed and the one that we didn't. Trying to figure out how to unravel all this while somehow not getting caught, and also getting Sosuke out of his conviction, hopefully. I love this fucking game. This is such a well-written fucking visual novel. I hope you all have been enjoying it as well. If you happen to be new here and you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, if you think I deserve a follow or a subscribe, I'd appreciate that quite a bit. We stream 3 times a week for approximately 2 hours, and this stream will be re-uploaded to YouTube tomorrow night, where we'll join every single stream I've ever done. So if there's any you want to catch up on, you can find all of them there. Link is in the About section. And I will make sure, like, I don't have, they're uploaded, but I haven't finished releasing them, but I will release the 2 streams of this game from last week. I will do that literally after this. I'm done with this stream, like, within 2 hours. So you'll be able to find all of that there if you so wish. But other than that, it's very, very late, so I need to get the hell out of here. So thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate your support in every capacity. I hope you have a good afternoon, evening, morning, etc. And I will see you all again tomorrow with more of the devil. Ciao!